If you have vision, you can turn vision into velocity, taking off and launching.
We might need to put that on the shirt, vision into velocity.
People ask me things all the time. They say, why do you do this? And I just simply say, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
A great leader to be in that space. Show them and they start to discover it on their own. Then that's when the magic happens. Making a big impact in this near Northwest Indy neighborhood. Where do you see the next 5 or 10 years going? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Hey there! Before we jump into today's episode, I want to take a minute to thank the folks that made this nonprofit spotlight series possible, Elements Financial. As a credit union, they're a not-for-profit financial institution built on the idea of empowering individuals to achieve financial success. And they've been doing just that for 95 years, starting right here in Indiana. Now, they're based in Indy and proud to support Hoosiers, but their reach goes way beyond state lines. And they don't just talk about impact, they live it. Elements teaches more than 1,000 financial wellness classes annually. They pay their employees to volunteer, and they donate 1% of net profits to causes that improve lives. So yeah, it made perfect sense for them to back this series, because when it comes to supporting people doing good, Elements cares. Learn more at elements.org/getin. That's elements.org/getin and use code GETIN. Elements Financial, like a bank, only better. Federally insured by NCUA. Now let's get into this special nonprofit spotlight episode presented by Elements Financial. My guest today is Sharon Clark, and she is a social entrepreneur and community leader dedicated to revitalizing Indianapolis's Near Northwest neighborhood through development and community programming. After an acclaimed 30-season collegiate volleyball coaching career highlighted as the all-time wins leader at Butler University with 368, incredible, she transitioned to nonprofit leadership in 2023. As the founder of the Aspire Higher Foundation, Sharon has transformed a historic firehouse into a vibrant community hub. She's also joined by Marvin Smith, who is a board member for Aspire Higher. I'm really excited to dive into, first off, your transition from, an incredible coaching career, 368 wins, 23 seasons with Butler, I believe.
Yeah.
7 seasons with over 20 wins. Like she's got a lot of great players there, of course, but an incredible coaching career. Your transition in 2023 to being a nonprofit leader and this mission that you guys have built to really pour into the near Northwest side of Indianapolis. Y'all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nate. We're excited to be here.
I am very, very excited. One, we have been hanging out for 10 minutes getting ready to press record. Mm-hmm. I've already learned so much about what the near Northwest side of Indianapolis is, and I'm really excited to share that with everyone as we get there. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the near Northwest side, I want to talk about what sparked your transition after a 30-plus year career in coaching to dive into nonprofit leadership and start the Aspire Higher Foundation.
The work that we do now, my husband and I, Tim Clark, we've always done that work, just on a much smaller scale. Our backgrounds, our families, where we grew up, he's from New York and Georgia, and I'm from California. We've always just been in the space of, if you can help someone, help them up.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how it started for us. Coaching and being in athletics and being a former college athlete really, really, really helps me every day with what I do. And I never thought that.
Yeah. Where were you from originally?
I'm from California originally.
From California.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Indianapolis?
I ended up here, chasing love, following my husband.
There we go. Yes, sir.
Who was working for the NCAA in Kansas City. And then when they made the move here, he's like, hey, let's go to Indy. I was like, yeah, no.
Like, oh, boy. And then in 23 seasons at Butler later, you're like, oh, we're all in on Indy.
He was right. Best move ever.
There we go. Now we're talking. So you're coaching at Butler, you're doing, I would say, from the outside looking in, pretty solid, winning a ton of games. The all-time wins leader at Butler, correct?
Correct.
That's so cool. 368 is a ton of wins to get. But somewhere during there, you took this, innate passion, this thing that you had always been doing, helping other people, and you turned it into a little more of an organized movement with Aspire Higher. Take us through what led this to hanging up the whistle and the clipboard in 2023 and diving headfirst into an organized nonprofit, and how you identified the need that the near Northwest side of Indianapolis had.
Yeah, it was really a very organic situation. My husband and I both being former coaches, we always were doing free clinics for kids, trying to get them opportunities. And that's how everything really started. The Near Northwest is very close to Butler. So it was easy and simple. And it was a community that had a lot of great needs. I think what really made that catapult in that transition was one of my former student assistants who worked with my volleyball team. And Ryan was an attorney at Ice Miller at the time. And he actually ended up being my husband's. My husband works for Simon Youth Foundation. He was the attorney working with that group. And he's like, hey, I saw Ryan, blah, blah, blah. Told him what you're doing, da, 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 da. And then the next thing I know, he's talking me into
when you say
foundation.
when you say what you were doing,
Yeah.
like what were the X's and O's, the things that you were doing in the Near Northwest neighborhood?
Yeah. So at that point, what we were doing is we were just providing resources to families, and we were doing lots of exposure things for kids. So we were doing sports camps, clinics. We were doing digital stuff, helping people, work with technology, just a lot of little one-off opportunities that we thought would help them. We were working with some of the schools at that point in that community and just really bringing resources from everywhere, from the NCAA, from Butler, lots of things like that.
For those that don't know, can you outline what the Near Northwest neighborhood of Indianapolis is?
Yeah, so it's a wonderful community just northwest of downtown, right? So we kind of border 16th Street on the south, 38th Street on the north, and then I-65 to the east, and then we go all the way to just past the White River on the other side of Riverside Park. So it's a big area there, and we've got 8 neighborhoods in that.
So this is Riverside Park.
Yep.
Is it over? Like, is it technically Marion or no?
Yeah.
So
Yep,
okay,
Marion's
so
part
even
of it.
across the river too.
Across the river, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All the way up to south of.
Almost to like Lafayette Road.
Yep.
Like over there. Yeah. So we go all the way over there.
Oh yeah. And then south of Newfields, like 38th Street.
Yep.
Is that the north border?
That is our northern border.
Okay, I'm following along. So like, what would be if people have ever like probably driven through there, you think of like that the 65 where it like curves out.
Every time you go I-65, you're going right by the neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
And was it just strictly out of convenience with Butler of how you got connected to this neighborhood? Like, oh, it's close and there's a need there.
No, it was the Firehouse. So the Firehouse, this 1897 Firehouse. When we first moved here, I was looking for a space for to do some community development stuff and some work, and we just didn't have a space.
Yeah.
So the Firehouse on 16th and Carrollton was the one that I really wanted, and someone had gotten that and turned it into a home, and so we happened to see this one just randomly. And I'll be honest with you, it was kind of an accident. When I first moved to Indianapolis, on Sundays, I used to go to Indiana Landmarks and look at all these things. That's how I found it. And that's how I learned my way around the state of Indiana. Like I'd drive to the 10 most endangered.
This is a constant thread. In the last month, I've had 4 different guests where we've talked about Indiana landmarks.
Oh, yeah.
And like the little auction site too, and
Yeah.
the 10 most endangered spots.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that's how I learned my way around the state.
I love Indiana
great.
landmarks, but I didn't know about it before maybe like 2 months ago. And now I'm like always on it, checking out like,
Yeah.
I mean, for $3,000, you can buy an old schoolhouse. And people are probably like tired of me talking about this, but it's so cool.
It's great.
So you would go to the 10, like,
I would. And I
Wow.
found all these amazing little towns and cool places and
well,
spaces.
are there any of those trips that you went on or places that you visited that really still resonate with you, even if you couldn't like pour in and help save the space?
Yeah, I would say there were these, I think it's the Medora brick kilns or something like.
In Medora?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, from the West Coast, we don't have a ton of brick going on out there. So to see where bricks were actually made and all that kind of stuff. But it was just a really cool
Like,
space.
yeah, like this, like the Medora brick plant.
Yes.
And
And
like Medora is a really interesting town just in general.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely. I think the architecture, and I'm an architecture buff. Like I love architecture. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, that is so. And like, kudos to you for moving to a new place. You're like, I mean, did you know anyone from Indiana? No. And you're just like, hey, you discover Indiana landmarks and you just start to go out and visit places.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. And so through that, you discovered the Firehouse?
Correct. That's the first time I ever saw that Firehouse.
Okay. Which is the Firehouse. What's the general address of it?
So it's 1002 Udell. It's on the corner of Udell and Raider Street.
Okay.
And it originally was Firehouse number 9, and then it became 23.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's got a great history.
And so you found this on Indiana Landmarks, and you're just like, hey, we need to do something with this?
I was like, yeah, we should get it. And my husband's like, no. But somebody owned it, privately owned it. And then...
Okay, so it was owned by a private individual.
Yep, it was
so
owned
you
by
have to
somebody.
and was it just like run down?
It was falling apart. I mean, roof was leaking. It was...
Yeah. What was their plan
close
to do
demolition.
with it?
But the city was not like looking to...
So how do you bring this to life and end up gaining possession of the Firehouse?
Someone said, hey, you got to go to the tax sale. I think that Firehouse is in the tax sale. And I'm like, what? I've never done that. So I went to
like a live auctioneer?
Yeah.
No way.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Wait, so there's a tax sale and you go there and you get like a little number and
you're
like
paddle.
And you're bidding on a Firehouse?
And I kept like putting my paddle up and I didn't know what I was doing. And then I
No
went
way.
home that night and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, we
Did you have to like, okay, so a couple questions about like actually like, did you have to like, I don't know, like show that you have like, how do you pay for a Firehouse?
Yeah,
You know,
so
like-
you do. Like you have to, pre-fill out all the stuff with the Marion County Treasurer's Office and then do all that. And then that's how you get your bidding paddle.
Who were you bidding against?
I don't know. Like there's all these serious people. Like they were totally into it, and like people with briefcases, and this was years ago.
Yeah. When did you get it?
2012.
Oh, so you've had it for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we bought it sight unseen, and then we broke into it because there's no key. And then we were like totally overwhelmed.
Wait, you bought it sight unseen? Like
you couldn't go in it. You couldn't view it. Like we could only see it from the outside.
The fact that you're just like, yeah, let's do it. Like you like have like a number in your mind, and then it's like you start to get close to it, and then like your briefcase enemy is like, oh no, we want that Firehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you get the keys. You own this Firehouse, and what do you? Or no keys. Sorry,
no keys.
We get like the deed or
busted
something.
It open. Yep.
Okay, I'm the owner, and
then we went inside, and it was stuffed full for 3 floors.
Of
there was like
what?
4 cars in there, forklift. It took us 2.5 years to empty the building.
And your husband, how was he feeling about owning the Firehouse?
He's like, "What are we doing?"
How far was it?
And
from
we're
where
going
you
to work
lived?
every single day. It's about 15 minutes. I mean, we're up at Traders Point. So.
Okay, so you'd be like, you could get down to Butler, and then
I would drive by there all the time, like after work, like
Just,
after
like, check it out.
practice. Yeah, I'd just cruise through there. But that's how I got to know the neighborhood.
Okay.
That's literally how I got to know the neighborhood.
So would you ever be like working and neighbors would stop by and ask like, what are you doing?
Oh, every time. If you do that now, they all stop by. They're like, it looks good. And my uncle used to be a firefighter there. And
No way.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, they're like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm not really sure. Like, but we have the Firehouse. Okay, so it took 2.5 years to clean it out. What
Just
was the
clean
most
it out.
random thing you found in there?
The greatest little gem we found was a classic Mustang. It was in parts, though. It was totally in parts.
But like,
And I will have to say that Marvin, our board member, he was one of what we call the early Firehouse pioneers. Like we used to call our friends like, what are you doing this weekend? And they'd have come over and help us.
how did you two get connected?
Being a Butler volleyball fan, coming to check the games out.
Yeah.
Sharon was an amazing coach. She won't say it, but she was absolutely an amazing coach.
Marvin, where are you from?
Kentucky.
From Kentucky,
Originally.
and then you came up to Butler?
No, originally from Kentucky, moved in for middle school, 7th grade. Been here ever since. Went to North Central, graduated, Ivy Tech, IUPUI.
Heck yeah.
Been in Indy and haven't left, so slowly becoming a Hoosier. That's what I say.
Amen, right? And so you got involved with Butler volleyball, like being a fan?
Yes.
And then you guys got connected and you started helping out on the Firehouse?
No, so I had an auto repair business, and Mr. Clark needed his Suburban fix. And I had a auto repair business and just helped out. When I was just, anybody that had any type of skills, Mr. and Mr. Clark, they have an amazing heart. So when they ask you to do something, you're going to do it. You can't tell them no. So just come and advise it. And I was like, I was like, that's not a Mustang. I said, I think that's a classic. And I was looking at it. I was like, that's worth some money. So
No way.
Absolutely.
That's how we got the first windows done on the building.
You sold the Mustang?
Sold it and got the windows.
Did you have to put it together? Or did you sell the parts?
No, we sold the car was somewhat intact, but we had to dig through everything to find the other parts.
Had the engine,
Because like the
had
serious
engine,
like
right?
Mustang people were
Yeah.
like, we need this, we need
No
that.
way.
Yeah, we had no idea
So
what we
you
were doing.
you uncover a classic Mustang
Yeah.
in this basically abandoned firehouse. That's a pretty cool find. Anything else that sticks out and that's memorable for you?
I think it was the first athletic club on the circle.
Yeah.
All of the weights and everything else were upstairs in the room. Like all this athletic stuff that were, I mean, there was a shoe company. I mean, I don't know who was collecting and putting all that in there, but it was all in there. And
That's
so,
wild.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years. So when you finally get it cleaned out, then
Yeah.
what do you start to do? And while you're formulating your plan, like what was the plan for the space?
So initially the plan was art studio space.
Why art? You're a sports person.
I'm a sports person who does art, right? So,
Really?
yeah.
What kind of art do you do?
I repurpose furniture, do home interiors, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's kind of my lane. And I thought, oh, this would be a cool space for other people to do their stuff.
So you wanted to make like a community art hub.
I did.
Okay.
Absolutely. That was the goal. It was a long range goal. It was like, oh, long after, when I retire. This
And
what
like
I'm
worst case scenario, you have a space where you can do your art.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like you have a cool, and your art is kind of the space as well. Like it's just like a giant
It is.
restoration project.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
The transition for me really was when we were over there working all the time, the neighborhood would come by and say, hey, this should be this, or this is what it used to be, or this is what happened. And there was just a light bulb moment for me. And I'm like, okay, this building is way bigger than us.
Yeah.
And we need to restore it, get it back, make it useful, and give it back to this community.
How do you balance your vision for what you think it should be with what the community wants it to be / needs it to be?
I learned a long time ago to listen more than I talk, right? And so, through coaching, you're always trying to hear and understand your athletes, your assistants, the fans, like everybody, right? You're trying to interpret for everybody. And so that transitioned with me, and I really wanted to not do things for the community, but do it with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's critical in community development. You really have to be in that space of, I'm not going to tell you what you need. I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to help you get to where you want to be.
So did owning this firehouse then lead you to do more of the like athletic camps or other like programming, like kind of within the neighborhood?
It gave us a space to really do our programming. So like we do a Girls in Tech program. It's really robust. It's a really great program. We do everything from AI to cybersecurity to
That's cool.
all types of things.
What
career
high
exposure.
school? What high school would most of the people in the neighborhood be going to?
A large portion of them go to Heron Riverside High School.
The Argonauts.
Yeah, Believe Circle City.
Is like addicts in that
Oh, yeah.
general area,
Yeah.
like Christmas
Addicts.
addicts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So when did the space get to a point where you could bring someone in?
We did a grand opening when we completely redid it, and that was February of 24.
That's 12 years. That's a
Yeah.
dozen years from when you acquired
It
the place.
is.
So like for 12 years, were you just like slowly chipping away at working on it?
No, what happened was when
It
we
took a
first
long
got
time.
it. Yeah,
It took a
when we
long
first
time.
got it, it was overwhelming, the amount
Yeah.
of work and everything. So we literally locked it up, and then like years later, like 6 years later, like a community development person over there called me and was like, hey, what are you doing with the firehouse? Like, are you going to do something or not? And I was like, yeah.
How long? So did you not clean it out either immediately?
No, we
So
did
you
not.
had it, and
We
you're
had
like,
it.
you kind of set it on the shelf, like one day I'm
Yeah.
going to do something with this.
Yes.
When did you really put the rubber to the road
We
to start
really
working on it?
started heavy in about 2017.
Okay.
But it was weekends, holidays, whatever, because my husband and I were both still working
Yeah.
and traveling for work. Like I was on the road all the time, recruiting, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So 2019 is when we got serious, got a architect and started doing drawings and all that so we
Yeah.
could get the actual cost. And $1.6 million later.
$1.6 million. I mean, you talk about it, first off, being chock full, 3 stories
Yeah.
high. Like, that's overwhelming. And then when you get the budget back and you're like, 1.6 million, like,
Yeah.
so then what, did you have a nonprofit attached to it at that point? Or like, how did you start to then put that together to bring this project to life?
So we didn't know it was going to cost that much. We started heavily right before COVID, and then COVID hit. And so our budget then jumped after we were able to go back and start the build out. But in the meantime, what it did do for us gave us more time to really be intentional. Like we added a commercial kitchen because we're in the #2 food desert in the city, and we knew that we had to produce some type of food or be able to help people get healthy food options. There's no grocery store. There's no full service grocery store in our area. So those are some of the things that it really gave us time to do.
Who were you going to like raise the money to bring this to life?
Yeah, so I had no idea where to go. So I went where I went, which is to people that I knew. And in the long run, we ended up with some really great board members who were friends and people who have always supported us. Some of them who are still on our board today, which I'm thrilled. But they got us connected to some organizations and some people who could help.
What was the original mission? Like when you're going out there and you probably have like a slide deck or something, and you're like, I mean, you probably need something a little more robust than we finished the old Firehouse. Like, please, we're a little bit over our skis on this.
I mean, by that point, the foundation had really started forming itself, and we had our 4 pillars. So we had our direction, right?
Okay,
so
4 pillars.
4 pillars. Community development, right? So help rebuild and...
Specifically to Near Northwest or just in general?
Specific to the Near Northwest, like our community, because it's the most needy of the spaces that we're in, right? So that's a big pillar because there's a lot of vacancy, a lot of empty lots, boarded up houses. We've got to do that. And then health and wellness, right? So we built the commercial kitchen in, help produce food. We have 5 gardens, community gardens. So some of them we just grow and people walk up and take what they need, right?
That's cool.
So those types of things. The health and wellness is obviously very important to 2 old coaches, right?
Absolutely.
But adding the fitness opportunities for our senior citizens and all those types of things just became really, really critical because the infrastructure was not there for them to be able to do that, right? Then technology. So it was a choice for us to really drive technology to those who least have access to it, and those are older Americans who struggle with tech the most. But the bigger part is the career exposure and all of the educational part. We do that very specifically with young girls.
With STEM, right?
Going. Yes. Yeah.
Because that's an interesting. I'm from like a small town in rural northern Indiana, and I always talk about this. Like, I didn't know anyone who knew anyone that hosted a podcast.
Right.
I didn't know anyone who knew anyone that worked in tech. It was like your choices were like realtor, work in the factory, or maybe be an accountant for like in the front office of the factory.
That was the same for me.
Yeah, I mean, coming from, I'm sure like
Small
parts of
town
Kentucky.
You could work in the coal mines, or you could work in the chicken plant. That's all you had.
And like 1 out of every 100 people got like a collared shirt job, like in the front of, like, you know what I'm saying? I just said like 1,000 times, but exposure when you were a kid to these potential career paths, even if it's not the right one and you find out you hate STEM, at least you know that's an option.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's been great for us is, the folks who support us have been really great at understanding the vision, right? So we bring kids in, we're doing a lot of programming, but then we also travel them, right? Because we've got kids who've never been off the west side of Indianapolis.
Never
right?
left 465.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of access. So we take them on field trips. We do the state, we do the region, we'll do Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, wherever. Yep. Then we do the college exposure. And then we started doing the country. So we took a group of our STEM girls out to California.
No way.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to know what it is? We're going to take you to Silicon Valley.
No way.
We went to Bloomberg. We went to Google. We went to Gap. So they could see all of these women who work in tech, but also so they could see something outside of their small neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And that inspired them to want to do more. It inspires them to want to dig more in school and everything else.
Well, they talk about this with Providence Cristo Rey High School. Are you guys familiar with PCR?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And on Friday, or like 1 day a week, they have their students go out and like have a professional internship and work. And they talk about, if you just look at like broadly the population that attends Providence Cristo Rey, their parents might be hourly workers, or they might like not a lot of them have, a career in STEM or like finance or whatever it is. And they put these kids in these professional settings at a pretty young age to just be exposed to all these new things. And it's just so cool.
It
you
is.
know? And like just learning that there are things to aspire
Yeah.
higher to, right? Like, come on.
It's a game changer, though.
Yeah.
You know, one of the early ones we did in Indiana, there's so much here in Indy, right? So we did careers in sport, and we did everything from a company who does sports games, right, to obviously the NCAA, Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, what does that look like on the backside? Not in sales, not in the store, but how do you produce all of that? So that was a fun one, and we did that with middle schoolers.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And how fun is that to also bring kind of those two parts of like your philanthropic heart and your sports heart together? To put that, like that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So you kind of got serious with the space in, was that 2017 timeframe?
Yeah.
And then COVID, obviously you have your budget, you're rocking and rolling. How, like, what is the space? Describe it to us today. What does it look like in 2024?
Yeah.
And what are all the programs and things you guys are running out of there?
Yeah, so the first floor is all of our community space. So we have a large open area, which is obviously where the trucks used to be and the horses and all that. And then the back of that is our commercial kitchen. It's called the RyZe Kitchen. Right?
Okay. So
that
when you say commercial, who's running that? Or can someone just come in and lease that space to make something? Or is it like
So we do rentals, but our main emphasis is we have a group of chefs who come in and they teach. So we have a junior chef program. We have a nutrition program for the elementary school kids. And those kids can walk to our space, or they bring them over in after school programs, stuff like that. Then we have our varsity chefs who are high school kids. So this summer, which I'll tell you about later, this summer that group will be cooking out of there. And then we have diabetes awareness, and IU Health and IU Indianapolis have been great partners of ours. So we do a lot of that type of programming. We're hoping to kick off our food as medicine program with Marion University and their doctors of osteopathic medicine. So that's kind of like that first floor. It's all open public space for that.
And like if you were a community member, if it's like 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, can you pop in?
You can pop in.
Or is it like specific programming that's going on?
We have specific programming. We don't have
certain days.
Yeah, we don't have open hours per se.
You. Okay.
We also added similar to a food pantry that we do twice a month on Thursdays. Right. And then when the weather gets warm again, we go back outside and we do a farmer's market. Right.
That program is called Thankful Thursdays.
Nice.
Yeah.
So and
we give food away on Tuesdays.
Give food away on Tuesdays and then
on Thursdays.
Or on Thursdays?
Yeah.
And then you're doing a farmer's market as well?
Yeah, we just basically move it all outside in the late spring and summer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's
I wanted to add something to a point that Sharon said earlier. One of the things about the RyZe Kitchen that's super important is teaching kids how to be able to cook in the kitchen and be able to make healthy, sustainable foods from the foods that we and they already may have at home. It's super important. Staying away from the Takis and the ramen noodles and the things like that, the hot dogs and things like that. But how to be able to grow your own food and actually how to be able to make it, how to be able to make food out of the garden that we have.
Let's dive into that a little bit because I don't know if the average. I don't know. I'm 29 years old and I come from like a fairly well-off family, so like we had food. And my mom made dinner at night and we had, all that jazz. So talk to me about this, the aspect of a food desert and growing and how important growing your own food is and knowing how to prepare it in a community like the near northwest side of Indianapolis.
The misnomer is that, you don't want to get healthy food, and that's not actually it. People's palates are exposed very early when you're really young, right? And then your palate gets trained. Like, clearly, I'm trained on sugar. I'm drinking too much sugar.
Yeah, right. I feel that.
But the real, impetus for us is just being able to make sure that we can provide spaces. So, like, we're working right now to fundraise for a marketplace, small corner market, old school. Just like neighborhoods used to have, where they can get fresh fruits, vegetables, that type of
like
thing.
If you go like abroad, it's like the bodega.
It's the thing. Yeah. Like a bodega. Yeah. And we have, another, Flanner House has a space off of MLK, but it's not enough for the neighborhood, right? So we know that we want to be able to do that.
Take me through. If you spent a month in the near northwest side, like where do you buy groceries?
So something I wanted to add, on the near north side, one of the big challenges is transportation. A lot of the community members there don't drive or don't have cars, so they solely rely on public transportation. and not having a grocery store that is close that you can catch the bus to in less than an hour, 2 hours to be able to get there.
You've got to go up
you
Michigan Road.
Yeah, so you have to be able to. You can't get it.
Yeah, there's a stretch. I mean, listen, you asked me why I did this. It's heartbreaking for me to see people go into Family Dollar to get groceries. That's not groceries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And but that's right there. And that's what's available. Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Well, and I talked with the crew from the IU Health District, which if anyone remembers that episode, you guys are like an adjacent neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no grocery stores in a large stretch of the space, but you also like the Kroger or whoever is not incentivized to come in here and put a grocery store in.
Right.
And so it takes this like some sort of public-private partnership or whatever it
Absolutely,
might be
it
to
does.
like put something in here because it is philanthropic.
Yeah.
You know, like if the numbers made sense to put a Kroger in here, they would have done it by now. They're pretty smart and run a lot of math.
Right.
And so it's like figuring out, but the people that are living here need this. So it's like, how do you come together and put something like that?
So
like,
I think, again, we have to think small format, right? And we have to provide, give people an option to get it and to have access to stuff until we can redevelop that neighborhood more, which means until we can build more housing, till we can put more people in. You asked me what we did with the Firehouse. We added 4 apartments upstairs. So every time a Firehouse or Aspire Hire Foundation builds something, we build housing with it, right?
Yeah.
That's just a part of what we do because we've got to do more infill housing. We have to build more density, right? So the metrics and the numbers work for an Aldi or a grocery store or whatever, that type of thing.
Yeah, because then once you can help develop the neighborhood and get less vacancy.
Right.
You talked about there being a lot of abandoned houses through there.
Empty lots,
Empty lot. Yeah, it's like getting that. Then the numbers start to make sense for a market or maybe one day a Walmart supercenter.
Right. But the real reality that I've learned is it takes them helping, right? So when you start talking about a Kroger or a Meijer or whatever, they all have foundations.
Yes.
And they can help now, right? Until we can build up those numbers. It's the chicken or the egg, right? If the 3 of us are going to move over in that neighborhood, we want amenities.
Yeah.
We want to have stuff to pick up and buy a house and move over.
And especially if you rely heavily on public transportation and walking or biking, like trying to get over to the Kroger on 16th Street or up Michigan Road, like that's a haul if you have a bag or even like 2 bags of groceries.
Absolutely.
Like that's
and where we're located in Northwest Landing, it's going to be even more of a haul because Indigo has now changed the route and rerouted it. So it's skipping a whole group of people now, right? So they're going to have to walk quite a ways just to get to the new bus route that's going to come out. And that makes it even more difficult for people. Right. So they rely upon what they can get to.
When you think of these the issues, right? So food being one, transportation, how are you taking these big problems and breaking it down to actionable steps to actually make an impact?
So 100%, this is where my background in athletics has come from, right? So building out like that master plan of 5, 10, 15 years and trying to work through that. I mean, at times it can be overwhelming, but the real reality is I've got great partners and great people along this journey, like Ratio Design. Bill Brown at Ratio is an amazing person, has been with us the whole time. I wouldn't know how to do a lot of those things, but just having him as a resource sometimes to say, what do you think about this marketplace? Like, what can we really build
like
here?
what would it take to build a marketplace for fresh groceries in that near Northwest side?
So I need to make sure people understand this. This is not like a big full service grocery store.
Yeah.
This is a old school corner store with lots of stuff, but it also has 3 other components. So financial, there's no bank in the area, right? So we don't have a full service bank in the area. So I'm working with a couple of banking partners to see how we can do some new innovative ways to put financial centers back in there, right? Yeah. The whole build out right now, the first numbers that we got back on a low scale are like $2.9 million, on a high scale 4.5, right? And I'm like, I was thinking, 800,000, I can raise that. So this is typically what happens for us, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
it's never like in the budget that you thought it was. Oh, 800,000.
No.
2 point whatever million dollars.
Yeah. But we're committed. We're committed for the long haul, and we're also committed to every space we build, it being a great space.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you built multiple spaces?
Yeah, we've built 2 now. We're about to do a grand opening of our second space.
Okay, so space number 1 is like that community space on the first floor with the kitchen.
Yep.
And on the top floor, it's
4 apartments.
4 apartments.
Yep.
What's in the? Is there 2 stories or 3?
There's 3.
What's the middle story?
So the middle story is 2 apartments. They're pretty good size. They're like 800 square feet.
Yeah.
And then 2 on the 3rd floor.
Okay, so it's community space and kitchen. Oh, imagine having that one one of those.
And they're really
second
cool.
level
They're
apartments.
lofts. Yeah.
Well, imagine having one of
very
those
cool.
and they're like cooking something, or poke your head downstairs, like, yo.
Oh, they do. They come down.
What's going on down there?
They come down.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was space
That's one.
1.
And then the second one is an art and wellness space.
Where's this one at?
It's right across the street. So diagonally across the street, we were
what was
able
the
to
space
acquire that.
before?
It was an old boarded up house.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so you have now a spot across the street.
Yes.
And what does that space look like? And talk about the grand opening.
So that space is, so we kind of vaulted it, blew up a giant open and added a loft. So a sleeping loft. And we really needed that for like our arts and artists who come in to have a place to stay, short residencies, stuff like that, so that we can bring that into the community. We also have like a grow room in there for growing indoor plants. We wanted it to be more of a calm, serene space. There's a beautiful kitchen in it. And then we added a lot of outdoor space. So we have 2 decks on it and then a huge adjacent art space that connects.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. I have a question. How well do you know the history of the Near Northwest side?
Pretty well.
Okay. So here's my question. When you think of the old north side of Indianapolis, you think of big, beautiful homes, you know, like, I don't know, like it just feels like that was like at one time like the Carmel of downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Like beautiful, like people still want to live on the old north side. And then as you shift towards the old northwest side, it seems as though like the development didn't quite hit the same. So where in this did things get split off, and what was the history of the near northwest side of Indianapolis?
So one of the biggest driving factors was probably in the 50s, 60s when they made the choice to run the I-65 through there. And they split up and broke up that neighborhood. And then it also got redlined. And this is
What does that mean?
Redlining?
Yeah.
So redlining is, back in the day, they used to literally, for insurance purposes and other things, draw a red line around Black and brown communities. And then those communities would have a hard time getting loans, insurance, all types of any investment.
Okay, so there was a physical barrier of the new
Anybody
highway.
you can Google it, Chat
Google it,
GPT it,
yeah.
whatever. It's all
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this community then got redlined.
Redline.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a red line community. I think the other thing, because there was a lot over there, we're currently in the middle of a history project. So it's funny you should ask this, to learn the history of the neighborhood. So let me tell you 6 of the things that we found out about this
Yes,
neighborhood.
I'm here for this.
So 16th Street, right?
Yeah.
That stadium lofts, that ballpark right there, Negro League baseball played there. So we did that as one of our projects. 3 women played in the Negro League baseball at that stadium, right?
No, this had to be forever ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's so
but
cool.
it's the history of the neighborhood. And like, I'm like, no, we need that out. You know, the Father Boniface Harden is another one that we did.
Who's that?
He was a clergy at Holy Angel School, one of the schools that we work with today, right? It's 2 blocks from us. And he's also the co-founder of Martin University. So he was the one who started Martin
Which
University.
also is like going through a ton
whole
right
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
A whole lot of stuff. And we hope that can stay. I mean, I hope, we really don't want that to change, to lose the history of that. But the biggest one for me, my favorite one is, you know where Public Library number 1 is?
Where?
Public Library number 1 is right around the corner from our Firehouse.
Whoa.
Public Library number 1 was called the Riverside Branch Library and was basically the first standalone library in the city of Indianapolis. And it is still standing there today. And
Is it still a library?
No, it's
Or is it just
closed.
a building?
It's just closed. It's been closed for years.
What?
And we hope that someone can help us get funding to get that back open.
I gotta look at
and
it.
give
I
it back
gotta
to the
I gotta
city.
get a glimpse of this building.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
wait.
a beautiful little brick building.
Where would it be at?
It's on Clifton. It's 3101 Clifton.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we're going to unveil that, the Firehouse, and Elder Diggs School. Those are our 3 recent ones. We're getting ready to unveil those next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first library.
That's why it's public library number 1. It was the first built standalone library in the city of Indianapolis. And it's just sitting there.
Yeah. Who owns it?
One of the neighborhood associations.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think.
Hopefully. Well, hopefully they'll do something with it.
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
I mean, that looks so
We'd love to
sweet.
help them.
Okay, so that was more history that you learned.
This history project is being sponsored by the Mellon Foundation for us.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we've found, we're like, oh my gosh, we got to keep going. There's so much more. And again, we want the kids and the people in this community to know what was there before, right? And how I got to this was, as we've been doing this, I was like, there was some kind of Kroger there. There was all of those things and buildings that used to be there are no longer there. So when you look at an old North Side, you look at some of the other, they still have some of their historic spaces and buildings. That's why it was critical for us to save the Firehouse.
Yeah.
But the Near Northwest does not have most of its buildings that were there. They weren't able to save those. So we've got to replace and rebuild a lot of that stuff. There was a grocery store there a long time ago, right? There was a bakery there. There was a cleaner.
So what are like the must-save projects or must-save buildings within the Near Northwest Side, right? You had your Firehouse.
Yep.
Then you have the library.
The library.
And then
the library is a big one. The school. So School 42 is
Mm-hmm.
Elder Diggs School.
Elder Diggs. Who's
Yep.
Elder Diggs?
So Elder Diggs is our one of our hidden gems. Elder Diggs was the principal at that school for I don't know how many years, probably 30 years. He was amazing. This guy did everything. He was a Buffalo Soldier. He also was the founder of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated at Indiana University.
Yeah.
Right? So he was just an amazing man. Like he just did so many different things. And
He died in 1947.
yep.
He was the principal and a teacher for 26 years.
26
and then
years.
after he passed in 47, then they named 42 after him.
Correct.
Elder Diggs.
Yeah. Amazing guy. Amazing guy. And the more that, our researchers find out about him, the more I get intrigued. And again, I'm like, why isn't this splashed all over? So we want it all over the neighborhood, right? We want all of them to be out there,
Wow. His nickname was the Dreamer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Oh my goodness. Like the more you know. Yeah. He got to IU in 1910.
Yeah.
Helped organize. Yeah. Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Which is, it's one of the, there are 9
Yep,
black
defined
fraternities and sororities.
Yeah.
And for that to be founded, and actually people don't know this, but 2 of those 9 were founded in Indiana.
Yep.
The other one at Butler University with Sigma Gamma Rho.
If you said that across the country, no one. And give people 25, give them 40,
Absolutely.
49 choices, and I don't know if they would have picked Indiana.
They would.
Like, that's pretty cool.
That's a hidden gem, right?
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You talk about, being able to go out there and build something. Like 2 of 9, that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Hey, Indiana, if you're a business owner with big plans, listen up. Whether you're expanding, renovating, or breaking ground on something brand new, you need a banking team that's ready to back your vision. That's where my friends on the Elements Financial Commercial Banking team come in. These folks are based right here in Indy, and they're known for something rare. They look for reasons to make things work, not excuses to say no. That's the kind of mindset that moves Indiana forward. They've got tools to help you build, grow, and thrive. We're talking commercial loans for real estate, construction and equipment, business checking, savings and certificates, treasury management and credit card processing, lines of credit to keep things moving. So if you're ready for better banking built around your goals, head to elements.org/getinbiz. That's elements.org/getinbiz. Elements Financial, like a bank, only better. Federally insured by NCUA, an equal housing lender. Now let's get back into the episode. So as you think about making a big impact in this Near Northwest Indy neighborhood, where do you see the next 5 or 10 years going? What kind of partners do you need to come alongside you? Like, what can we really do to help push the needle forward?
What's next for us is absolutely this marketplace, right? Getting that going, and then continuing to build housing, building dense housing. Like we're in the mixed middle development space. So mixed middle is like 4 to 8 unit spaces. We're not downtown. We're not building.
Looking for a high rise.
No, it doesn't fit, right? So we want to make sure it fits in the neighborhood. And we want to make sure those people who live there like what they see, but we need density. So
yeah, when you talk to members of that community down there, what are the things that they're looking for? Like, what are they saying they want in their neighborhood?
they want the same thing everybody else has in their neighborhood, and
park.
they great parks, right? They want space to exercise, move around, and be. But they also want like a coffee shop. They want some place to meet and hang out. They want third spaces for the young people, and that's something we're going to provide this summer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Places to hang out where it's chill.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and
they want restaurants that they can go sit down in.
yeah,
Those types of things.
I feel like that is something that Indy is really pouring into, like even more. I think that historically, when you think about third spaces, it's been big cities like New York, Chicago, places like that where you have small living quarters. So like inviting someone over for dinner is like, well, we're gonna eat dinner in my bedroom. You know, like, that's kind of weird. So everyone would meet at the local coffee shop, like if you know the show Friends.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's been, or the How I Met Your Mother. They always hang out at the same bar.
Right.
I think Indy is pouring more into that, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go to wherever, and it's not just to eat and get out. It's just like, let's just sit and chill and hang out, and like, you never know who's gonna show up.
Right.
It's like Cheers, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
so third spaces.
And amenities. You know, they need a financial institution to be a part of the community, and then they need the basic stuff that we all have. But they want walkability. You know, they want to be able to walk to go get things that they need and want. Pharmacy. You know, stuff that we take for granted. No, everybody doesn't mail order all of their stuff in. And no, Meijer doesn't deliver over in that area, you know, that type of thing.
That's
so just being able to help be robust. That's kind of our space. And, you know, we've gotten to where we are with great partners and great supporters. IU Health is one of those who really helped us build out the apartments. Lowe's did a great job. They helped us build out the apartments. We could not do this without
Shout
those
out
types
Lowe's.
of yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Lowe's is a good partner.
Marvin, when you think about being on the board of Aspire Higher, like what about this mission gets you fired up, and why do you continue to pour time into it?
Because everything that we do is impactful, and that's one of like the things that we really. That's one of the things. One of our core missions is not serving the many, but making sure that the ones that we do serve, that we have a true impact.
Yeah.
And sometimes that has guided our decisions, because a lot of people want numbers, but what are those numbers doing for and the individuals in our community? They have a lot of needs. They have a lot of needs that have been underserved for years.
Yeah. Like if the answer was like, okay, it's all numbers, it's like, okay, well then buy 500,000 packets of ramen and hand that out. Like it's like boxes checked there. Right. You have the numbers, but like training the good habits that hopefully will then translate generationally. And it's like one day if you taught, even if they don't end up becoming a chef down the road, but they learned through cooking classes how to make healthy food, and hopefully like their kids and their kids' kids will also have that ingrained of like making healthy dinner and having a garden and growing that. Like that I think is
and
impactful.
they learn how to work with other people. You know, that teamwork and that being a part of something is what kids are longing for. And so all of those things provide that. I think the other thing that we are really intentional about what we need, and we need partners to help us get there, is these educational spaces outside of schools, right?
Yes.
So we need a real tinker space for our little kids, you know, our K to 4s, and then we need STEM space, and we are going to build that. We are determined to get that built in so that it can be there. And then the medical and the health, all of that wellness stuff, we continue to need to make sure we have that in our community.
How do you build relationships and build with the community versus coming in and telling them what they need and it feeling like you're forcing your vision onto them?
Sure.
I feel like whether it's, you know, rural, small towns, we had a couple weeks ago, we had two individuals that are building out in Danville and building out in Martinsville, but they weren't originally from those communities. So small towns are very protective, just like neighborhoods are very protective. Yeah. And the last thing that people want is like outsider with money or funding or whoever, their partnership with Lowe's comes in and starts saying, hey, you should do it this way because the way I think is right and the way you're doing it is wrong. Right. So how do you build relationships and really build with the community?
So that's a very good question. Currently, I was down at the Firehouse last week, and I was looking at some of the flyers and some of the things like that, and Sharon can talk about it more, but I seen that we're currently conducting a community survey.
Yeah.
And that information is going to translate to how we do our planning and whatnot. And an ask was made that we go to door to door handing out these pamphlets for the community to answer those questions for that survey about what they actually need. But Sharon can talk more about what.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty transparent. Like everybody knows who we are and what we are, and we ask them what they're looking for, but we also give them ideas because a lot of people don't know what they don't know, right? You can't say I want this X, Y, and Z, and you've never seen that before.
Yeah, and you talk about, taking those groups to outside of 465 and to California.
Right.
And it's like, well, people maybe aren't familiar with how it feels in Silicon Valley and like the hustle and bustle and the energy.
Right.
And so it's hard to say we want that if you've never seen that.
Absolutely.
Or like if you've never gone to Midtown Carmel and like experienced what it's like to have the farmer's market and the whole 9 yards there. So yeah, it is like a delicate balance of like painting a broad vision of like all the different things.
Yeah.
And then even getting people up there to experience those different areas to be like, oh, yeah, it would be really cool if we had a farmer's market, or it'd be really cool if we had this commercial kitchen that was always churning out cool stuff and doing programming. I think that's like a delicate balance that takes a true, a great leader to be in that space and to not feel like you're forcing your thing. I mean, you talk about like your vision for a volleyball team.
Yeah.
And if you just come in and say, it's my way or the highway and it's this and blah, 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 like they won't relate to you.
No, it
But if
doesn't
you
work.
show them and they start to discover it on their own, then that's when the magic really happens.
And I think you got to give people, let them have their voice, right? Yeah. And so we let people have their voice and we help guide it by giving them education. Like we show them a way. When we talk about housing, a lot of people are like, we just need to put the houses back that were there. And right now we're in an educational cycle of helping them understand that density will bring a grocery store, right? So instead of replacing a single house on that, if we can build a duplex or a 4-flat, that's going to help build more. It's also going to make the community more robust.
Yeah. And it is hard if you've been in this community for a long time. You're like, I just want that to be, and it's like, well, unfortunately, like we have to find a way forward and like building the 1, 2, 3, how do the dominoes fall to actually make the change and the impact.
Right.
And that's just such a,
It's
very rewarding, but also could be challenging work. So
it can be. I think a lot of times people, particularly older people, are kind of stuck and set in their ways. So we do a lot of work with our kids, with our youth, right? Our program that we have coming up this summer, it's called After Hours. And it's kind of our response to our kids telling us, like we were asking them, like, why are you guys downtown, like doing dumb stuff? Like, why are you up at Castleton Mall? Why is there a mess up there? Like, and they just started telling us stuff, right? And so we're like, okay, they basically said, we don't have any place to be. If you're not 21 years old, right, where do you go? And then I said, well, there's kids all over the city. And they're like, yeah, if you're in Carmel, you got restaurants to go to, you have ice cream shop, you can hang out on Main Street, they can just sit on the benches. Like they literally were saying this. And I'm like, they're right. We don't have that over here. So we're going to create it. We're After Hours is a program that'll run Friday and Saturday nights in June and July, all summer long, and from 7 to 11 p.m. And we'll have
creating a space,
5 activated spaces for them. So there's 5 villages. We call them villages, but there'll be 5 spaces for them to come in, hang out with their friends, be a part of. They learn something great. And if they're just connecting, it's cross-generational. We met with our neighborhood association. I'm like, we want you guys out here with them.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just after seeing that, there's not a lot of stuff for kids to do. I feel like that's the average kid thing too to say is like, there's nothing to do here besides like stare at the wall or play video games or whatever it might be. And so, giving them an opportunity to connect with their peers and hang out, maybe like not, get right with their parents.
Right.
Every like 17-year-old's trying to like hang out with their group.
Especially on a Friday. On a Saturday,
it's like I'm not trying to like hang out in the living room with my mom, I love that. That's awesome. That's going to kick off the summer. Are there other programs and things that you guys are kicking off?
Yeah, we'll be doing that program, and then we'll have our TeenWorks program, and then we're launching 3 new Latina programs. That's the tech program.
This fall.
So we have one in fire science, right? So we're working with some firefighters to do that. We'll have that one. We'll have a AI program that'll go on, and then we have a program called Build. And so it's the trades, right? And that one was kind of, I was way out of my zone. And one of the kids said, how come all the programs you have, you got to go to college for? And I'm like, what? I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah, that's all you do is stuff you got to go to college for. And they were right. But that was my perspective, right? That was my background, was college. And so we started a build program because once we started doing the research, we need a million zillion electricians, we need plumbers, and we need framers. And with doing all the building that we've been doing, I continue to see the same people in those positions, and there's not enough.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So
just for the youth, just giving them options of college and career readiness about what they want to do. Indianapolis has tons of manufacturing jobs, warehouse jobs that you can go to, but the lifespan of those is very, very short, and kids get burnt out doing those. You make a lot of money really quick, but it's not a sustainable career. So through our different programs, it's just to be able to give kids options about what we were talking about earlier. Knowing what you like is important, but also knowing what you don't like is also equally as important.
Yeah, it's, you think about a warehouse job or packing, shipping, doing whatever there. It's like, yeah, you can burn out pretty quick. If you had exposure to installing, I don't know, electrical or plumbing or whatever it might be, you can find out, and they're pretty lucrative too.
yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
Some of those like skilled trades jobs are.
They
I
are.
mean, I'm wondering, like,
I know, I'm
what
paying them.
What are we doing over here?
I'm in the wrong. I was in the wrong business. Really, I'm paying them.
Amazing, y'all. Well, hey, it's been so great hanging out with you guys and learning more about all the fun stuff you're doing with Aspire Higher. We do have the end of the show where we have some Indiana-focused lightning round questions. So this first question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you, we'll start with you, Sharon. Why do you call Indiana home?
Sports brought me here, and obviously sports and sporting is a big deal here, and I love every aspect of it. Can't wait for Final Four. But I love the vibrancy of the city. Indy just has tons going on, and I don't care who you are or what you like, there's something here for you. So I like that. I think it keeps people young and keeps them moving. So that's my thing.
Heck yeah. All right, Marvin, why do you call Indiana home?
Definitely sort of something that we talked about earlier before, moving from Kentucky, a very, very small town, to Indianapolis, Indiana. It's me and my family moved here. It's not a super big city, but it's not a small town, but it kind of has a small town feel. It seems like you can't run into somebody in Indianapolis without knowing somebody that you go to school, church, lives in your community, something like that, which is very interesting. So everyone knows everybody, and we all support each other. And I feel like that Indy is growing together.
Okay. What's your favorite volleyball moment at Butler?
Okay, this is going to sound really corny. It actually doesn't have to do with on the court. My favorite volleyball moments at Butler are always in May. It's always graduation. So when I have players graduating.
Wow.
That was always the cool part.
I mean, how many different, if you had to think about 23 years or plus 30 years, like how many different graduates come through? Like there's a lot of people
couple hundred.
in the coaching tree,
Yeah.
Are there any of your former players that are now coaches?
There are several that are now coaches.
You helped impact my life.
Yeah, I'll tell you the ones I love the most. I'm like, oh, I've got a couple doctors. I got a nurse practitioner. I was like, okay, my body will be good for a while.
Now you're talking. Okay. I think that is powerful. I do want to dive. So, Marvin, were you an athlete?
High school athlete.
High school
Played
athlete?
football, North Central, yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep,
Come on.
yep.
All right.
CCA Sports here in the city.
All right. What's the best piece of advice that you've both received from a coach?
Coach Doug Mitchell at North Central, just being high school students, being boys, clowning around, joking and things like that. And he said, you should never get your joy from another man's misery, right? So just laughing at people, making fun of them, and just being a kind human, right? So being a high school student, it definitely resonated with me, but also growing up and maturing, being a responsible, respectful adult, is you shouldn't get your joy from another person's misery, right? You shouldn't like to see people struggle and see people going through situations that you can help them out and just laugh at them and keep moving.
That's powerful. Like, isn't it great that some of the most profound wisdom is at its core so simple? Like that is such an inspiring, profound quote, but the sentence is not that crazy.
Right.
And it's like, if we just like sit down to like look at that and it's like, yeah, duh. Like, to be a good person, you should not get your happiness from someone else's unhappiness.
Right.
That is power. Coach Doug Mitchell.
Mitchell.
What a guy. That is if I had to think about like a fire football coach quote, like that's it right there. Like you're it's like a Thursday after practice and he pulls that one out while you guys are in the huddle and you're like, shoot. Like that's so true.
Yeah.
Doug Mitchell was a basketball coach.
Oh, he was a basketball
State
coach?
champion, yeah.
Hey, there we go. All right. At North Central?
Yes, at North Central.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, our basketball and football players, we did our athletic weight training together, so we would get two coaches
Get all
at the
the
same
coaches,
time.
yeah.
Not what
So
you
it wasn't
get-
even your
you don't-
coach.
Yeah, you don't want two coaches, two head coaches at the same time. No, thank you.
So it wasn't even your sport. That's crazy.
a
that-
minute
This was the
there.
basketball.
Sorry, Sharon.
This was the basketball coach, and that is the most profound quote that you remember, and he wasn't even your coach.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to that guy. All right, Sharon.
I had a great mentor who was an old football coach, and he said, "Always be authentically you." He says, "You can only fake things for so long, and if you're authentically you, your kids will love and appreciate you for that at some point."
Absolutely, totally. I'm the head wrestling coach at Bishop Chatard High School.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And so like they all think that I'm so like goofy and corny, which I am. Like at my core, I tell dad jokes and I am corny.
Yeah.
But like they've just grown to appreciate that, and they know like we work really hard, but we also. I don't take myself
have
too
fun with it.
seriously.
Yeah.
So you don't have to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could snap your fingers and host any neighborhood event in the Near Northwest Side, what would you host?
I would host this large called Flow Fest.
Flow Fest.
Flow Fest, and it's got music, anything that makes your senses feel good. So it would have a whole village of food and taste, music for, stimulating sound in your ears, things that are for touch. So artisan markets, so you could go through and things that you touch, like everything that stimulates your senses, smell, all the great things with smell, I think that we don't create enough space and festival things for all people to come to just to feel good.
Yeah.
Just to make you feel
Like
good.
just like a happiness festival.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're guaranteed to leave this festival with a smile.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, Marvin.
Something similar. It would be a neighborhood party, gathering, things like that, right? Where you could bring like a pitch-in party to where the neighbors could connect and get to know each other, sit down, dine, learn about each other, learn about the schools that we're going to. And then, of course, at nighttime, party, dance, have a good time.
Yeah.
Share some joy, create a memory, and then be able to leave and go back.
Yeah, I like that. Those are both great ideas. Okay. Let's say people are listening that don't live on the near northwest side of Indianapolis, but they want to make an impact in their local community. What's your biggest piece of advice to make an impact in a small community?
So my biggest advice is to start, right? That's the hardest part for people. A lot of people have great thoughts, great ideas. They really want to help. They really want to do something, but they just have a hard time starting. And it start with just one.
Yeah. And a lot of times I feel like people get caught up in like getting permission. You know, like, think about that. If you would have waited for the Near Northwest Community Association to say, yes, you can do this, you would not own the Firehouse.
Right.
And like you'd be just shouting into the void.
Yeah.
If you would have waited for some sort of magical approval to like host a camp or something, that like you would have never gotten it, because the world is actually really funny where it's like you think that there is someone in charge of whatever, but a lot of times it's like, oh, if you have a dream of like going to make an impact, just go do it. And if at some point along the road, you have to get permission from someone, like they will surface and you can go to that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are wait and get all, I don't know,
They
just
will.
like get caught up in the tape.
It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to do something big. People ask me things all the time. They say, why do you do this? And I just simply say, why not? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Marvin, do you have advice?
Yeah, definitely. What I say is get to know your neighbors, right? A lot of people don't know their neighbors, don't know their neighbor's name, don't know what their neighbors do. You meet on Wednesdays or Thursdays when you take your trash cans out, take your trash cans to the edge of the block, and you may wave, but you've been living next to your neighbors forever. You may see them whenever you're getting your kids on a school bus, dropping them off, but just getting to know your neighbors, and that's where it starts. And then it's like things like that you can continue to do whenever. I bought a house a couple years ago, and one of the things on my street that I've been trying to do is get the street lights replaced, right? So you have to call the neighborhood, the mayor's action center to be able to get that replaced, right? But what I've been telling my neighbors is the more of us that calls, we can get those street lights replaced. It's really dark on our street, and it's 4 lights that's out.
And
but
what street are you on?
Coliseum Avenue. So I live really close to the state fair, right? So it's crazy during the state fair, but that's helping. They replaced the street. They repaved the alley, which is super good, right, behind our house. But it's I think that all came from just some of the neighbors.
Yeah.
When we took our trash out. Have you made that call yet? Oh, thanks for the reminder. Like little things like that. It just helps your neighborhood just by starting out.
I think that sometimes people get so focused on making the biggest impact possible that they forget to make the smallest impact.
So, yeah.
You know, like just a kind set of words and knowing your neighbor's name.
Yeah.
Like, what if we all took that as a challenge? Like, I've had a couple of these conversations in the last month, and I'm like, I'm not doing as good as I could because I still don't know the names of a few of my neighbors. And it's like, well, if you started there, and then you could learn another thing about them, and then all of a sudden, you know, you could be working to whether it be. It's a lot easier to, you know, push a initiative forward if you know your partner's name,
Right?
If you know your teammates' name, like, it's like so simple. But we're like, I would be so focused on how do we throw the block party of the century that I don't even know who I need to. I don't even know who to address the invitations to the block party to.
I think people are yearning for reconnection with people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's the challenge for all listeners today. You go out. Learn a new neighbor's name between now and the next time you listen to the show.
Yeah.
Learn a new neighbor's name. Like that would just be a positive momentum. Oh my goodness. I love it. All right. These are the same 3 questions we ask every guest who comes on, all about the state of Indiana. So we'll start with Sharon. What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
If you have vision, you can turn vision into velocity, right? So it's like, it's a fertile ground for taking off and launching.
We might need to put that on a shirt. Vision into velocity. I mean, they've been saying India's speed city.
Yeah.
And that is like vision into velocity.
I'm down for it.
Oh,
Let's go.
I love that. Okay. Amazing. Marvin?
Mine is simple. Indiana has more than corn. Being a young adult, people, when I say I'm from Indianapolis, they're like, where is that? I'm like, come on. We hosted the Super Bowl. We hosted the All-Star Game. We have the Motor Speedway. We have almost all of the major sports teams stop, like you've never heard of Indianapolis before, and they just think corn.
Absolutely. Okay, this next question we're going to go with Marvin, and we'll come back here. So this is your opportunity to shed some light on a part of the city, a part of the state that more people need to be talking about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
The culture trail is absolutely amazing. Running, jogging, doing fitness, running on the culture trail. There's a lot of hidden gems about not only just Indianapolis, but the state of Indiana as well. Some of the people that have made the city and the state what it is, running or jogging, walking your pet on the Indianapolis Culture Trail is definitely a hidden gem.
There's so many cool little tidbits and facts across that. It's definitely worth it. All right, what is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Ooh, okay, I have 2. For the state, I would say, being a West Coast person, Indiana Dunes is pretty cool. And I would have never known. And, you know, you go up there and I'm like, wow, this is pretty. It's beautiful. And it's awesome. So Indiana Dunes would be that. And I have a second one for the city, which is my love, which is Eagle Creek Park. It rocks.
Absolutely.
Totally rocks.
Eagle Creek is super, super cool. Very interesting. I actually just had a bunch of people from Citizens on the show talking about Eagle Creek and how it was created because the west side of Indianapolis used to flood, and it was at one time owned by the city of Speedway, and then they transferred ownership.
I didn't know
There's
that.
some interesting lore about Speedway and Eagle Creek, but they flooded that to make that whole area, and it's incredible. Like they dammed it up to
beautiful.
make it. Yeah. It's so beautiful. We go out there and run. It's super cool.
Running, they got zip lining, they got a bird sanctuary in there.
Yeah. Do you know that actually we hosted the NCAA rowing championships at Eagle Creek?
Yes. A couple of times.
Like that's crazy to me. Like the best East Coast and West Coast rowers are coming to Indianapolis to Eagle Creek for their rowing championship. I'm like, that's so cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Finally, this is where we get new guest recommendations and learn about other Hoosiers that are doing cool things. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Absolutely, without a doubt. If you haven't had her, you need to get her on. That's Judith Thomas.
Who is Judith Thomas?
Oh my gosh. Judith Thomas is a native Hoosier from Northern Indiana and came to Indianapolis, has served this city, taken it by storm. She was at the Convention Center, National Federation of High Schools, was at the Walker Center, Madam Walker Center.
Wow.
Most recently was the deputy mayor in the city. and now is the president and CEO of Indie Arts Council. Like,
Yeah.
like I aspire to keep up with Judith, like just keep up, like, right. Like she's everywhere doing everything, but she is a huge servant to the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah. We might need an intro on that one.
Yeah, I got
Judith
you. I got
Thomas.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's super
Yeah,
impressive.
I'll connect you.
She
And
was-
a Butler grad.
there we go.
Yeah.
Volleyball player?
No.
All right. Deputy Mayor of Neighborhood Engagement at the City of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
She's actually the local organizing committee co-chair for the 2026 March, like the NCAA Men's Mathematics tournament. Like
Hidden gem, I'm telling you.
president of Madam Walker Legacy Center.
Yeah.
We gotta get Judith
Now the
on.
Arts Council.
Heck yeah! All right, Marvin, who do we need to keep on our radar?
My guy Sam from Indie Walking Tours. If you want to learn more about
Samson?
the city, yeah, Samson.
Beast.
Samson. So you know Samson?
Oh, you've had him on the show
already-
twice.
I'm about to say, yeah,
Dude,
Samson is
yes.
so. I must have missed that episode. Yeah, Samson he makes history fun, right?
Yes.
And I mean, it's just like everybody doesn't like history. That may not be their speed, but just his walking tours and how he connects with the neighbors. And I mean, it's funny how every tour he does, he knows somebody in the neighborhood. Somebody's coming outside, dapping it up, saying hello, giving some history. I learned so much about the Madam C.J. Walker and
His Indiana Avenue
neighborhood.
tour. Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
He does. I would say he is one of the only other people that I've met that like knows a lot of like niche Indiana stuff like I do. Like I just have like so much useless Hoosier knowledge, but I love it. Samson, like we could go like if there was a Jeopardy just for Hoosiers, it would be like Samson and I in the finals.
Yeah,
So,
that'd
like,
be great.
because we just
Okay.
know so much. He is awesome. He definitely has an energetic style of storytelling, a lot about history and specifically like Black history in Indiana, which is super cool. I mean, he came on and talked about, oh my gosh, from Indiana Avenue and Madam C.J. Walker up to like just so many different places across the state, not even just in Indianapolis. So definitely go on a walking tour. I think it's Walk and Talk Indy or Samson Livingston. He is a true character.
Yeah.
You should try to see if you can work with him on a Northwest
I need to.
Indy.
I want to. I want to get him. He did one in Broad Ripple with something about the swimming pool tiles or something at Broad
Yes.
Ripple Park. And I was like, what?
So I said this on an episode before. So one, where Broad Ripple Park is, used to be like a huge like amusement park type thing, and they had I think it was the first in-ground pool in the state. Maybe the country, maybe not the country, but in the state was in Broad Ripple, and it was huge. And so he found the tile for it, and you could see like where this
I
was.
saw that one.
And people from downtown Indy used to summer in Broad Ripple.
Ah,
Like, because we were so far. Like, oh yeah, I'm going up to summer in Broad Ripple. It's like I'm driving my horse and buggy up there, or whatever it is.
Right,
Crazy.
right.
He's awesome. Hey y'all, it has been so much fun getting to hang out, getting to learn more about all the amazing work you're doing on the near northwest side of Indianapolis, a community that physically kind of got cut off from the rest of the north side of Indianapolis, as well as you think about whether it be transportation or food or education and all these different resources. Like they need people like you all in there helping partner with them to make an impact. I think is so special, so fun, amazing to hear about the work you're doing. If people want to follow along, if they want to go and support, how can they do that?
They can certainly go on our website, which is aspirehouse.org, or our social media, Instagram or Facebook. Or they can always just reach out.
And I would be remiss, I have to say, this is one of our nonprofit spotlight episodes. Have to give a huge shout out to our friends at Elements Financial.
Yes.
So Elements helped put this
Love
whole thing
them.
together. They are incredible community partners. You're talking about financial products in the neighborhood. We might have to team up. Elements, Aspire Higher, come together.
Absolutely.
Oh, that could be
It's
a fun
needed.
one.
Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely.
Well, hey,
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Nate.
All right, that's a wrap on today's Nonprofit Spotlight, and I hope you're as fired up as I am about the work being done by amazing leaders right here in Indiana. Big thanks again to Elements Financial for sponsoring the series. As a credit union, they're not-for-profit and built on the idea of empowering individuals to achieve financial success. That's why they've been empowering Hoosiers and folks around the globe for 95 years. They're based in Indy, but they serve members in all 50 states and more than 50 countries, and they're serious about giving back, teaching more than 1,000 financial wellness classes every year, offering volunteer hours and donating 1% of net profits to causes that matter. So if you're looking for a financial partner that's rooted in purpose and proud to serve, check out elements.org/getin. That's elements.org/getin and use promo code GETIN. Elements Financial, like a bank, only better. Federally insured by NCUA. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time right here on Get In.